Hi, in this tutorial I will demonstrate the third method of how to construct a perpendicular from a point onto a given line. On our workspace has been provided a printed line AB and then point P above line AB. And we want to construct a perpendicular that is 90 degrees from point P onto line AB. Here I have provided you a schematic of the method 1 and 2, and you can find these tutorials on my YouTube channel as well that explains how to do these. Now method 3 is basically the same as that of method 2. We are just going to now do the construction of the arcs below line AB instead of doing the constructions onto the point P. And the only reason why we did that in method 2 was to prove that point P is perpendicular above line AB, and then we used our set squares from point P 90 degrees down onto line AB. So method 3 is basically the same apart from the arcs being drawn at the bottom of line AB. So let's start this construction. We're going to start by drawing a light construction circle, and it does not have to be a full circle, but it can be a full circle or just an extended arc from point P with an indefinite length as long as the length of that arc or the radius of that arc is going to cut through line AB. So now I'm going to go and on TurboCAD I'm going to make the radius of this line 55, or this arc is 55, and then I'm going to use my split entity tool to cut away the excess of this arc, because we do not need the full arc, we just need to show the area where the construction arc is cutting line AB. Then I'm going to reference the points of that construction arc that is cutting the line AB here on the left, and I'm going to call that number 1, and we're going to do the same on the right hand side and show the reference point and rename it now as reference point number 2. This will help us with our explanation. So now what we need to do is we have to now draw light construction arcs here at the bottom of line AB using a specific radius from number 1 and 2. So it's important that the radius that I'm going to use for the construction lines that I want to construct, that radius would be exactly the same from number 1 and number 2. So I'm going to go and choose my circle tool and make sure it's on the constructions layer. On paper you will just use your compass and you will measure out a specific length. In this case I'm going to use 30 millimeters. Now the reason why I use 30 millimeters is because 30 millimeters is going to go past the halfway mark between reference point 1 and 2 on line AB. As you can see here with the snap active, the radius is 22.9. That's for halfway, but if I were to cut off the construction arc here, I would not be able to get a reference point at the bottom where the two arcs intersect with one another. Therefore, I have to go more or less 3/4 of the distance, and this is just an estimation. So for me to do that, I'm just going to make sure I can make it 35 or 30 millimeters. In this case, I'm just going to go and say tab 30 millimeters and draw a construction circle. Again, you do not have to you did not have to draw the whole construction arc, you just had to draw a section of that arc. So now I need to do the same from reference point 2, and I must use exactly the same radius as that what I've used now from number 1, and I draw the construction circle. So as I said, I don't need that full complement of the circle, so I'm going to do some cutting away of the excess, and I call this housekeeping. And that just creates for me a cleaner and more professionally looking drawing. So now I have for myself an intersection here at the bottom of line AB, one at the top as well, but we don't need that one, we just need the intersection at the bottom of line AB. If you want, you can erase this top section as well, but it's sufficient for now. So what I'm going to do is create a new reference point and for explanation, and that is just to show that at this dot here, I have to now draw a light construction line from point P right through the intersection here at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is draw a light construction line first, because we don't need a solid line at first, but only once we show the actual perpendicular. So now I'm drawing now, as you can see here, from point P 90 degrees straight down to this intersection at the bottom below line AB, and draw a light construction line like that. Now the question asks us to construct a perpendicular from the point onto the line. So the area from point P onto line AB over there is what needs to be drawn solid. So I'm first going to go and reference that intersection so that I can call that solid line a specific name. And I'm going to draw a light dot there at the intersection at the bottom. And now I'm going to use the label D, because we're already, or we can actually use C. Sorry, my apologies. We could have used C and reference that reference point as C. Therefore, line PC will be my solid line, and all that I need to do to complete this construction is to select the solids layer, and on paper you will draw a solid line with a 2B pencil from point P onto the intersection at point C, and that will now create for you the solid perpendicular from point P onto line AB. And that concludes the construction method of how to construct a perpendicular from a point to a line, and this is method 3. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and give this video a like. Thank you. Bye bye.